Libra ascendant, Libra rising, how are you? How you be? This is G. I am going to give you your end of the June, starting from the Eclipse and on video. This is going to give you your update as to how you're going to navigate the waters of life. What you're going to do is listen closely. We're going to go over 5 things that you can carry with you forward to understand what is coming. When I look at your chart, Libra, first of all, if I want to make a quick mention, watching How Lanie Lives video, right? How Lanie Lives, super practical, down to earth. It's very relatable. I love what she's doing. She's a great supporter of this channel. She's a great supporter to folks in the YouTube community. Pay her a visit and show her some love. She is doing really wonderful stuff. She is doing a day-to-day practical things. It's very valuable things that she's doing. They may not seem like all that. She's teaching. Look at, she's got a little one there with her. She's teaching the youngins how to live, right? Not to go without, not to go on the outside of your world to figure out how you're supposed to live. Go within. And that's what Lanie's doing here. And I love this. And so I'm playing her during my video. It is my way of showing support back to this YouTuber doing her thing. And I'm very happy to be associated with How Lanie Lives. So now for you Libra Ascendant, Libra Risings, what we want to do here is find out about the eclipse. I've got 3 videos out about this eclipse. If you live in the States, you should probably go watch these videos, especially part 3. It is specifically geared toward the United States chart in conjunction with this eclipse. It's at 0 degrees Cancer. Now, without me going into any more of the astrological stuff, what I am going to talk about is where this eclipse hits. It's in your 10th house. So 10th house usually is job, is career, is your highest ambitions in the world. The 10th house is where you express your best. So having the Cancer at 0 degrees, if there's something huge that occurs, because eclipses promise change, if there's something big that happens, that means you have planets that are very close to that 0 degrees Cancer mark. It's a new moon eclipse. It is a new moon solar north node eclipse. And I know I just said a mouthful of stuff, but each of those things I said means something specifically. And I go deep into all of those specific things in the other videos, which is why I broke this eclipse up into 3 videos and then doing the rising sign videos, because it's just, there's so many layers to it. And we know this, we look around in our life and you almost say, gosh, I don't even need this, because I see, if I can sit back and observe and watch, I see there's a lot of shit happening. And some of it seems like it's long overdue. Some of it, it's like, okay, I'm so ready for this to change. Some of it is like, oh my God, another change, you know? So there's a lot of layers. We are all changing and growing together, okay? So just know that the big picture of all this, it's beautiful. Where we're headed is beautiful. It's going to take some time and patience and persistence. Yeah, let's get into your 10th house. This is ambitions in the world. This is your highest hopes and goals. What we're going to do is understand more carefully if this is going to stress you out, right? And if it does, where in your life? When we look for the 90-degree angles, these would be squares, okay? So squaring to the Cancer energy at the opposite ends, right? Because Cancer would be down here. We go up here, right? What's the T-square going to look like? So Libra in energy, 0 degrees Cancer, you are in the square. So if your sun sign is within 3 degrees of 0, this is going to be a big deal. If your rising sign is within 3 degrees of this is going to be a big deal. Or if your moon. Now, I know I said this is a rising sign video, which it is, but look for the rising sign number, okay? That's on the eastern side of the chart, the left-hand side as you're looking at it. If you don't understand, if you need help, if you don't know, comment below. This new moon Cancer eclipse is all about setting intentions, okay? So that's the 3rd thing I want to bring up. This is about your intentions. You want to wait till about the 23rd of June to set your intentions, because Venus, who has a birthday, will be in Gemini energy, and she will be more clear about what she needs for her future. So this is in your 9th house, okay? So Venus is going to be more clear about, now this is a really nice placement, by the way, because Gemini does well in the 9th, okay? It does well because it's air and fire mixed, so to speak. The 9th house is really a Jupiter house. It's really a Sagittarius house. But when you have Gemini thinking and air flowing together, right? Fire and air mixed together, they expand. Oxygen expands the fire. It grows. The ninth house is teaching. The ninth house is learning, but higher learning, higher teaching. This is that I need to go on to extended education stuff. That's what ninth house is. It's also the house of publishing, like vlogging is a form of publishing. Before you put a video, it says to publish your video, click this button. You're publishing something. It could be people who write too, because Gemini there would be that, but talking would be a big deal, having Gemini in the ninth house, using a form of talking. Also sales, you be selling, right? This is a big deal. I know someone who has this placement, and lo and behold, they will be selling for the next 6 months, it looks like. It just turned out that way. She didn't look for it. It dropped in her lap. Hey, would you like a job? And that's exactly what happened. At the same time, this person I'm talking about is also a college professor. She will be utilizing, it's Miss A, by the way, she will be utilizing this Gemini energy in her ninth house to do all her classes online, right? Online teaching, which frees her up to do some other stuff. So she's a busy beaver and will continue to be a very busy beaver. But these are just ways to give you examples of what will be going on in your Venus and making wishes for your future. This is important because Gemini is all about how can I, Gemini likes trade and barter and being busy and smart and being crafty and being genius in a way where, how can I do this? How can I do that? How can I make money from this? How can I make money from doing that? This is Gemini energy, right? A mover and a shaker, but kind of like being busy with the hands, just as busy with the mouth. The last thing we want to talk about, and I'll probably have one more because you know me, there's always a lot. There's a lot going on. The fifth thing we got to talk about is Mars, all right? We cannot have a video ever without bringing up Mars. Mars is going to be moving, okay? And Mars is going to become a big factor at the end of this month. On the 28th, we're all going to start feeling Mars, especially if you live in the States. At the around the 27th, 28th, depends upon your level of sensitivity. Mars will start aspecting some things and squaring at 90 degrees. And when it does that, it means tension and stress. So for you, let's find out where Mars is going to be giving you some stress and tension. All right, so here you go. Mars is going to be entering your seventh house. It enters the sign of Aries and will be there for the next 6 months. Yes, for the rest of 2020, Mars will be in your seventh house. This is a general reading, by the way. So you might have a birth chart where it shows things a little bit differently. So I say to always follow degrees for that reason. Again, you don't know, comment your stuff below. I can help you figure that out. Mars then at that 0 degrees, 6 months is because Mars goes all the way to like 28, 29 degrees Aries, and it backs all the way up. So it spends a lot of fiery time. Now, understand something about Mars. It's the ego. All right, Mars is very impulsive. Mars charges forward with its head down and doesn't look. Mars lacks the ability to think. And it's not that it can't think. It's that it chooses to use its body. It chooses to be physical. It chooses to it feels the stirrings, the desire factor, and just goes for what it has a passion for. It just lunges forward. It's energy that is sporadic. It's not consistent. You can't count on it. It's not always going to be there when you need it. So Mars has a tendency to express in bursts. And so when it expresses in bursts, it usually goes from 0 to 10. So if it's already at a 90-degree angle, this can many times be very uncomfortable. Now, this squares the eclipse point in your chart, the 0 degrees Cancer eclipse. And this is what I started talking about in your 10th house. So in your career, you could have something going on. There could be an authority figure, but likely because it's in Cancer energy, it's typically going to be a female who's somehow an authority figure. It could even be a female who's more of like a mother figure, but it's definitely somebody in your life. There is this tension and stress. There is just testing. But Mars doesn't stay there forever. Mars is going to move, okay? But understand that with that Cancer eclipse in your 10th house, that point is, it creates a hot button, and it will stay activated for like 3 to 5 years, okay? So knowing what angles it at 90 degrees and knowing the timing will help you to navigate. You'll be able to say, you know what? I don't think I will be doing this then. I will be smart and choose to do this at a different time when there's not a square. right? And that's how you learn to work with the energy. All right, so the last thing I'm going to mention is the North Node. All right, this is important because it's your Gemini. There are a lot of similar themes that I'm talking about, but your Gemini energy, again, is your 9th house. And so your 9th house, that Gemini stuff, that thinking, that learning, that creating, that publishing, that talking, that salesmanship, and short distance journeys, staying close to home, not traveling far away, okay? That 9th house, you may want to travel far away, of course, but what the 9th house with the North Node is doing there is it's an extra emphasis on staying local, learning local, okay, for the next 18 months, because that's where the North Node will be for the next 18 months. All right, so Libra Ascendant, Libra Rising. You have any questions, just comment your digits below and I'll help you out. Remember, if you don't know what your rising sign is, it's not your birthday. It is not. It is your birth time. I can get that information. I can draw up a chart and tell you your rising sign. I can't get your birth information for you. That's the part you got to do. But the rest, as far as drawing up a chart and getting your rising sign to you, I can supply that to you for free. Or as one of my good friends says, free 99. All right, so don't miss out. Get in the game, by the way. Stay in the game, comment, be genuine, like, subscribe, tap that bell, and let's just support one another genuinely.